So here's box 9 out of this set, out of this block of cards, and still no masterpiece. I lied to myself and everybody else on the last one. So we're going to do Salmon Sauce episode 2, run through the box, get a masterpiece, achieve world domination, and then end the video in what is going to hopefully be under 10 minutes. I like doing Salmon Sauce because I think it's a funny name, and on top of that, it's much faster. Prices are still changing pretty drastically, but as you can tell, the set is pretty much revolving around, there's Hope of Girapur. The set is mostly revolving around getting a masterpiece, getting Heart of Kiran, getting a Planeswalker. It's just, there's very little value monetary-wise. Merchant's Dockhand. There's very little value. There's very little resale value. My best box so far was the last one at $50-something. That's what I was hitting at in Kaladesh, like halfway through the set, toward the end of it. Yahini's Expertise is one of those cards that's still going for about $4.50. I mean, you're looking for, 6 cards out of the whole set. That's not a masterpiece that's going to give you any money back. Rishkar is the other one. So Rishkar was like $5-6. Again, this is just going offhand. So I'm not going to put prices in these videos. We're just trying to open up as fast as we can. Lightning Runner, Mythic. And I don't know if anyone here, I'm sure they do, watches Alpha Investments. But Alpha Investments just did a really cool video, I think. There's SRAM, one of your commanders. He just did a video about how certain things just aren't printed as much, and it's been going back from, it's going back for a while now. Aid from the Cow. And you'll see as you open up, these entire boxes, or seeing how much a lot of you guys open stuff, is you're not going to come across certain cards nearly as much as others. There's Brawl. And I think it's funny because, Fatal Push is 1 in a box, maybe 2 in an entire box. But if I did an uncommon breakdown, I guarantee you I'm getting, maybe 4, 5, 6 of another Aether Geode Miner and a foil Shipwreck Moray. I guarantee you I'm getting other, cards way more. And, it's creating these imbalances and resale values and mechanized production, Mythic. I think that they're trying to pull a lot of money out of this game. I feel like the boom has already happened. And it's just making it a little more difficult for Rishkar's Expertise. I feel like it's making it more difficult for the players, They're just pumping set after set after set out, and what do you want me to tell you? It's causing people, hundreds if not thousands of dollars to play this game. Yahini Undying Partisan. So you got Rishkar's Expertise and Rishkar. You have Yahini's Expertise and Yahini. And you have SRAM, so we'll see if we can match all 5. People who want to release the Gremlins, people who want to consistently play this game, and I'm sorry, I see that's really out of focus. That should be a little better. If you're gonna buy figure, maybe you're gonna draft or do 2-3 boxes worth for the real hardcore people. $300, Spire of Industry. If you do 3 boxes, but they release 4 sets a year, you're spending $1,200 a year on Magic. And that's retail. A lot of the box opening channels get better than retail. There's Brawl's Expertise. Now I need Brawl, Foil, Universal Solvent. I'm buying all of my stuff at retail. It's costing me $100 a box. I put the prices up in the corner. I got a Foil Swamp. Yes. He's going in the foil pile. And Aether Sphere Harvester. So there's one of your other cards. Spire's worth about $3. I just sold an Aether Sphere Harvester on TCG. I think he was like $350 or $375. I mean, I pretty much just hit all the money cards except for Heart of Kiran. What was I saying? Quicksmith Rebel. And a foil Mythic Exquisite Archangel. I mean, I don't really think you can really be getting much better than like some of these boxes I've pulled recently, and I'm not making my money back. I'm not making even close. You know, I was saying Fatal Push. There you go. There was $4.50 is what I just got Fatal Push for. So we'll leave him down. We'll put him in the foil pile. And Pia's Revolution. You know, spending $1,200 in Magic. A lot of these opening channels can usually get stuff not at cost. I cannot do that. I'm not there yet. Inspiring Statuary. So I just feel like they're trying to pump a lot of money out of people that may not have it, or they're making it very hard to play, and I think that's making Magic more difficult for the common man. Quicksmith Spy and a foil Implement of Improvement. I've already pulled, you know, 5 foils. One's a mythic of all things. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. There's another foil. Go right to it. Winding Constrictor. This is a pretty sick. And there's a Heart of Kiran. So I've pretty much hit every card other than a Planeswalker that I'm going to hit to give me, you know, money out of this box. That's not a masterpiece. I mean, I don't think I'm going to have a better box value. This is ridiculous. And I'll probably still be under Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I'll still probably be most likely under, you know, under $100. I don't, you know, if I sold everything, I won't make my money back is the problem. Last time I checked, Heart of Kiran was 15. You know, I probably have about $40-50 on the table right now. Carry Zev is like 50 cents or 95 cents, something like that. And a Gifted Aetherborn foil. That's crazy. That was a lot of foils in a row. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about this box. I'm not complaining about the set. I feel like they're just pumping too much out. They're pumping a lot of cards out. They're turning, you know, stuff like Dock Hand, you know. There's Disallow. They're turning stuff like this. They're pumping out a lot of these 25, 45 cent dollar rares. And they're printing those a lot more than a lot of these other cards. I mean, they're just pulling money out of people. Green Wheel Liberator. And I'm not one to tell you how to spend your money. I'm not one to tell, you know, to really bitch about how they run a business, because they're running a business. I just feel like, you know, it's a little unbalanced, and it's becoming more SRAM's expertise. So it's becoming more and more apparent with masterpieces. It's, you know, masterpieces and inventions, expeditions. The whole set's trashed unless you pull one of those, and it's a shame. Oath of Ajani. So we have SRAM and his expertise. We have Baral's expertise. We have Rishkar and Yahini. Who am I missing? Carry Zev. I don't have Carry Zev's expertise. I might be able to pull 5 at 5. That would be pretty sweet. Second Fatal Push. So, I mean, this, and Scrap Trawler. There's your there was one of your promos for this set. I'm gonna give away my promo Scrap Trawler at 1,000 subs as well, for those of you who may have missed it or, you know, didn't get to get one. Tetra's Touch, Consulate Crackdown. Oh, I'm at 9.5 minutes. I think I'm gonna just miss my 10-minute mark. I'm getting closer. Dark Intimations, pulled a foil one of those out recently in my last box. I don't know, that's my thoughts on the set. It's not a bad set. Lifecrafter's Bestiary and a foil Death Dismissal. They made it its own block. It's supposed to feel like its own block. I just feel like none of this is really going to retain its value later in the future. No one's going to be looking back and saying, you know, hey, there's Walking Ballista and a foil Forest. Walking Ballista is one of those cards that's worth a couple bucks. I don't know the price offhand, but I'm even still more excited about my foil Forest, which is just, look, I got two. Where's my swamp back here? My swamp's in there somewhere. This best box I've ever pulled, probably. On camera, maybe ever. Best box I've ever pulled. I know my piles are all over the place. We're supposed to be doing this as fast as possible while I ramble, so I apologize. Word of invention. We got 3 packs left. 3 packs left. Metallic Mimic. I don't know. You can put your thoughts in the comments. If you don't like my rambling, you can say so. If you don't want me to talk about my thoughts on how they produce a set, Free Jam Regent. Again, it's just my 2 cents. It just seems like you can go back and there's a lot of value out of the older ones, and we look back at this one, it's gonna be like, did you get a masterpiece? Nah, okay, that's it. And Battle at the Bridge. So there was box 3, or is that box 4 out of this? This is I think this is box 4. This is this is a little ridiculous. Haven't gotten a masterpiece yet. Again, this was probably my best box. It really was. If you want, real quick, if you can end the video now if you want, it's fine. But you got Heart of Kiran, you got a foil mythic of Exquisite Angel. Just going through my stacks real quick, and we'll try to make it a nice little, whatever. Walking Ballista is supposed to be worth money. Your Aether Sphere Harvester is supposed to be worth a couple bucks. He's about $3. I just sold him $3-4. Spire of Industry is worth a couple bucks. Hope of Gear Report, I think it's like $2. Rishkar is still a couple bucks. But I mean, stuff like Consulate Crackdown is probably 20-25 cents. SRAM's Expertise, maybe 50 cents. Free Jam Regents, not much. Skyship Raiders, under $1. Quicksmith's Revel, under $1. Battle of the Bridge, under $1. Whir, under $1. Yahini is one of your commanders. I think he's like $2, maybe. So Quicksmith, under $1. So you take all that out. You take your stuff here that's worth any note. That's going down on the board because he's my favorite. I mean, you have a Fatal Push, right? You have another Fatal Push. Swamp. Right? If these are all my cards of note out of this set, 8, 12, 14, these are probably worth about 50 cents a piece. 15, 30, I don't know what he's worth, but we'll call him $5 right now. I haven't seen him being used terribly often, and he's a foil. Let's go $8, 38. All things considered, I might be at a $55 box again. So, I just think that's the value of the set you're going to get. You're going to get about half your money back. And doing these kind of things are really only worth it if you're getting boxes for $60 or $70 a piece. You might be able to break it apart and sell it in a shop for, higher end TCG mid pricing. You're not going to get it. You're not going to try to battle the lower prices and battle people selling online. It's my 2 cents. There's your salmon sauce. Thanks for watching.